Saturday 25th October 1969 remains the darkest day of the people of Nyanza province and a memory for the people of Kenya as a whole. The day marked one of the biggest political violence reflected to the Kenyans by the government. Days before the president's visit to the western and Nyanza province, some incidents had taken place bringing about hatred from the people of Nyanza towards the then ruling government. The then ruling president Mzee Jomo Kenyatta and his former vice president Jaramogi Odinga, who are known for their close political association and friendship. Their friendship collapsed just 2 years after Kenya gaining its independence in the year 1964. The collapse of their friendship was brought about by disagreement between them, which was as a result of decision that was made behind Jaramogi's back. The two had agreed that Peter Okola to be sworn in as the police commissioner, but after they had dismantled the meeting, Jaramogi received different news from the news hearing station Voice of Kenya, which is currently KBC. Instead of Peter Okola being announced as the Commissioner of Police, Bernard Hinga was instead the one who was put into power. Jaramogi did not accept the news warmly, so he headed back to the then President Jomo Kenyatta to ask what had happened and why did Kenyatta go against their agreement. When Jaramogi addressed this issue to Kenyatta, Kenyatta told Jaramogi that the House of Mumbi had decided that it was Bernard Higa and not Peter Okola. This angered Jaramogi despite him being friends with Mzee Jomo Kenyatta and going to an extent of refusing to form the government when he was offered an opportunity, and instead campaigning for the release of Kenyatta. He felt that Kenyatta had now decided to turn his back against him. Right after this incident, Kenyatta called Jaramogi and he wanted them to share the land that they had reclaimed back from the British amongst themselves. Jaramogi did not agree with Kenyatta, and instead he now started seeing Kenyatta in a different perspective, since Kenyatta had now started going against the agreement that they had and the goals that they had planned to achieve immediately after getting power. This made Jaramogi to resign from the seat of the vice president in 1966, 2 years after serving. After Jaramogi's resignation from the seat of the vice president, he formed his own political party, the Kenya People's Union, which was against the then ruling party KANU. The resignation of Jaramogi from the seat of the vice president angered the people of Nyanza province and they blamed Kenyatta for it. 3 years later, then came the assassination of two Nyanza influential politicians who were Gwix Kodhek and Tom Mboya. Gwix Kodhek, being the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he died on Tuesday 29th January 1969, where it was believed that he was assassinated. Few months right after the death of Kodhek, there followed the tragic assassination of Tom Mboya, who was shot in downtown Nairobi on 5th of July 1969. The death of the two was accounted to the then ruling president Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, which made the people of Nyanza province to develop hatred among the then ruling government and thought that the president did not want them to rise up for politics. 4 months after the assassination of Tom Mboya, there came the visit of the president in the western Nyanza province. The president was to make his last stop at Kisumu, in which he was going for a grand opening event of a public health center, which during his speech he claimed it was funded by the Russians for construction, and Jaramogi was advised not to attend the event by Odera, who was his close associate and his speech writer, but Jaramogi felt attached to the hospital since it was built by his close associate and his workmates who he worked with during his ruling as the vice president. During the event on 25th of October 1969, the two political rivals Mzee Jomo Kenyatta and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga were present. The chaos began, and the chaos were brought about by the speech of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. The chaos brought about a massive blood loss which made the day remarkable up to date. This chaos began when the president started directing once towards the KPU leaders and saying that Kenya was one party state, and this angered the large number of supporters of KPU in the Nyanza province. The supporters could not hold back their anger towards the president, and they ended up throwing stones towards him. This caused the police to open a fire as they were in concern of the well-being of the president. During the clash between the police and the people, it was later reported that 10 people had lost their lives on that date. Later, the people disagreed with the news, claiming that more than 100 people had lost their lives on that particular day. Despite that, the government was not yet ready to let go the people of Kisumu for attacking the president. So later that evening, with orders from above, the armed forces of Kenya attacked the netizens of Kisumu, giving them a massive beat which led to loss of lives for many. The president also shut down the KPU party and arrested several of its leaders, making Kenya a one-party state again. This visit became the last visit of President to Kisumu till his death, and this is the famous story about the Kisumu Massacre of 1969.